Odds are, if you're watching this episode in particular, then you've either filed a petition for divorce or you just received one. Either way, divorce is now in your vocabulary, and I am so sorry that this is happening to you. I'm afraid to say that it's going to get harder from here. Process is defined as a series of actions or steps taken in order to achieve a particular end. Just as the first year of marriage is the hardest, the same is true for divorce. Some days you wish that you could feel better right away, but that's just not the way it works. It may take months and it may take years to rebuild your life. Remember that saying in Rome wasn't built in a day. Be patient with yourself. And don't forget to show yourself compassion right now. As an adult, we often forget this gesture. You're doing the best that you can. You're surviving. And no matter what side you are on, the one who filed or the one who is served, you are in survival mode. No matter how the divorce is going down, once you start the split up, the separation, estates, things can become a bit hairy. Anger and negative verbal conversations are very typical once you have to work out your finances, your property, your belongings, and the custody issues. The gloves usually come off at this point, and strong emotions, even hatred, rise to the surface. It's a good idea to take steps to protect yourself by changing all of your IT information. For example, did you share your email accounts, cell phone services, or passwords? If you don't change these, your spouse, your ex-spouse, soon-to-be ex-spouse, could easily snoop or even cause bigger problems. You know that home computer that you both share, maybe? Remember your iCloud from it. They can read your messages if they want to. Do you really want someone tracking your conversations or any of your activities? Alice, 39, left an abusive marriage and was separated from her husband for 18 months before she filed for divorce. She was moving on with her life, making new friends, and working on her recovery. When she did file for divorce, she realized that the reason her husband had never asked her for any questions or wondered about the scheduling with their kids or anything like that, it was because he knew exactly what she was doing. He was reading her emails the entire time. He was checking her calendar every single day. And the only way she knew it is because he admitted it during a heated conversation before the divorce was final. It's not easy to cut the ties, and especially not easy to cut the ties that bind setting up a new email account, changing your cell phone number provider, changing your passwords, updating your cell phone. These are all easy fixes. These are things that you can do right now. You can keep your number if you want, if that's a concern. Give serious consideration to protecting your interest in privacy during this very critical time in your life. And if you do not want to be spied on, make the effort to ensure that it doesn't happen. And better to do it sooner rather than later. And on the subject of technology, it can be a disadvantage or it can be an advantage. Best practice is to avoid social media completely. And I know you don't want to hear that, but you do. When you post on something or post something on the internet, social media, someone can screenshot it and it's there for forever. It could really hurt you in custody. It can damage your reputation or even your ex reputation, which would be an unhealthy and possibly regrettable choice if that's something that you did. Divorce lawyers. If your divorce attorney has been in practice for a while, they have had plenty of people walk into their office either enraged or deeply upset, and usually sobbing or crying. This comes with the territory of being a lawyer who manages divorces. I'm sure they've seen it all. This attorney will sit and listen to your anger and rage and figure out how to get you a divorce settlement that you deserve. You will expose your life to them, list your assets, discuss your children, and then make a deal with your ex-spouse through the courts. This is what divorce attorneys do. They manage the process. Don't keep secrets from them. Tell them everything because it will only help you. It's important to keep in mind that your divorce attorney is not your best friend, nor are they your therapist. Celia, a 40-year-old with 2 preteen kids at home whose husband had filed for divorce. She cried one too many times while meeting with her divorce attorney, and her attorney said, "My services are $350 an hour. A good therapist is $180. Figure it out." Brutal. Jack, a sales manager, said his lawyer said, "Meh, your divorce is just a math problem. since you have no kids. He said it was such a simple view on his life that was hanging on by a very small thread. And he wanted kids. He tried for kids for years with no avail. His life was a math problem. It was a really tough thing for him to hear. It's not uncommon for divorce attorneys in geographical areas to know each other and be friends with one another. Be aware that they may be hammering it out a deal with an attorney that they might know. Familiarity between attorneys on the opposite side of the table can be beneficial to the divorcing spouse or not. Don't retain the same lawyer as your ex to save on money. Some people handle the legal aspects themselves, and that's perfectly fine. But it's a conflict of interest to have the same attorney. You no longer have coinciding interests. Your divorce attorney is a part of a very terrible chapter in your life. After divorce, many people project their negative feelings onto the instrument of marriage destruction, the divorce attorney. One of the most difficult parts of divorce is that you are faced with making excruciating decisions when you are in the worst frame of mind to do so. Do you want half of the retirement fund, or do you want to keep the house? Do you want to pay part of your salary to child support in a percentage, or state mandated rates? Who gets the baby pictures? Who gets the $4,000 super special sleep number bed that you both fought over after your 10th anniversary? Who gets the dog? These are not easy decisions. And you need to realize that in the end, these are the decisions that you will make alone. Do not underestimate the importance of a divorce settlement right now, and know that it can really affect your future depending on what's in it. Jill, a 34-year-old HR rep, said her family kept telling her, just cut your losses. Why are you fighting over just $20,000? You can make that back. Or the dishes in the kitchen. Just consider it an investment towards your future and move on. Find someone who can keep you on track. Enlisting a family member or a good friend might make sense. If that person can help be beneficial to you and not get too involved in the situation, it may be a good idea. You will need supports to deal with a divorce settlement while dealing with all of the other things that come with divorce and all of the other changes that are going on in your life. You are still in trauma. Some people obsess over the settlement and making it very difficult for their spouse, while others try to control their spouse through the divorce attorneys or the courts. Others pick up that bottle opener that they always liked, gather their personal things, and just leave without asking too much of anything. Some spouses accept credit card or other debts just to get out of the marriage. They don't care if they're taking their ex-spouse's bad credit with them. They're leaving. Erica, a 39-year-old orthopedic assistant, was overwhelmed with the legal aspects of her divorce, and both of her parents were already gone. She didn't feel right asking her friends to help her with splitting up the estate, so she contacted her financial planner, who became a very invaluable resource to help her figure out the budgets and gave her tough settlement advice. James, a home remodeler with 2 small children, was going through a divorce. He had inherited a family home that might have been sold to satisfy the property settlement agreement. His sister was very helpful, making suggestions to him when negotiating to keep the home. It helped him feel supported to run things by her, and in the end, he did get to keep it. Check out our next video where we continue to outline the basics of the divorce process. In part 2, we dive into the big stuff that you really need to think about and talk about, and what to expect on divorce day. Just a small disclaimer as well, this book is not source of detailed advice on legal aspects of divorce. There are plenty of books and resources about retaining a very good attorney. The Accidental Divorcee does, however, want to share some thoughts about this aspect of the divorce process. If you're interested in picking up a copy for yourself, you can click on the link in our bio and in the description. See you in the next video.